Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
When we talk about birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, and weddings, you'll hear both gift and present quite often. That's why learners sometimes ask, which word should I choose? The simple answer is that both are usually correct. Still, native speakers have little habits that make one word sound a bit more natural in certain situations. The good news is that these differences are small, so you don't need to worry about making a big mistake.
I agree. If someone invited me to a birthday party and asked, "Did you bring a birthday present?" I wouldn't think twice about it. If another person asked, "Did you bring a birthday gift?" that would sound natural too. Both sentences feel friendly and both communicate the same idea. The choice often depends on what people grew up hearing.
Birthdays always remind me of when I was about 8 years old. My parents planned a small party at home with my cousins and a few friends from school. I remember walking into the living room and seeing colorful boxes on the table. Every box had bright paper, shiny ribbon, and a little card with my name. Before I even opened anything, I felt excited because every package was a wonderful surprise. I don't remember every toy I received, but I still remember how happy everyone looked while we celebrated together. Looking back, I noticed that my family used both words. One person would say, "Open your birthday present," while another would say, "Here's your birthday gift." Both sounded warm and kind.
That's a lovely memory. Mine takes me straight to Christmas morning. My brother and I used to wake up very early because we couldn't wait to see what was under the tree. Everything was carefully wrapped and each box had colorful paper and bows. My parents usually smiled and said, "Go and open your Christmas present." That expression became so familiar that I still think of Christmas when I hear the word present. After opening everything, we thanked our parents for every gift because we knew they had spent time choosing something special for us.
That's interesting because Christmas is one occasion where many native speakers naturally say Christmas presents. You hear that phrase in movies, songs, and family conversations. Still, Christmas gifts is also common, especially when people are talking more generally or writing about shopping.
The same thing happens with weddings. Someone might say, "We bought the couple a wedding gift," because that expression sounds very common. Another person may say, "We brought them a wedding present." Both work well and neither sounds strange.
Anniversaries are similar. A husband might say, "I bought my wife a thoughtful gift for our anniversary." Another person could happily say, "I have the perfect anniversary present." Once again, the meaning stays the same. The speaker simply chooses the word that feels most natural.
What really matters is the kindness behind what you give, not whether you call it a gift or a present. English is full of little choices like this, and with practice, you'll begin to notice them naturally while listening to conversations, watching films, or reading books.
Now, we'd love to hear from you. What is the best gift or present you've ever received? And why was it so special? Share your answer in the comments because we'd really enjoy reading your stories.
Every celebration gives us another chance to learn useful English, and every real conversation helps these words become part of your everyday vocabulary. The more you hear them in context, the more confident you'll become when it's your turn to speak.
You know, after talking about celebrations, I remembered something that happened a few days ago. I needed to buy a birthday surprise for my cousin, but I couldn't decide what she would enjoy the most. I walked around the store for nearly 20 minutes, picked up a few books, looked at some board games, and then I thought, maybe I should let her choose for herself. That's usually what I do. When I'm unsure, I buy a gift card. It still feels thoughtful because the person can pick something they really want instead of pretending to like what I chose. I ended up doing the same thing. What caught my attention was the sign above the display. It said, "Gift cards available here." Then I started wondering why we always call it gift card. Funny you mentioned that. I nearly asked an employee where the present cards were the first time I bought one. The words came into my head because I was shopping for a birthday present. I can imagine the conversation. People would probably understand what you meant, but native speakers don't say present card. The expression is gift card, and it's one of those combinations that has stayed the same for a very long time. I suppose that's something learners should remember as one complete phrase instead of trying to change individual words. That's the easiest approach. English has many expressions like that. Once you hear them often enough, they become natural. The same thing happened after I paid for the card. I walked past another store selling postcards, magnets, keychains, mugs, and little toys for tourists. Let me guess, the sign said gift shop. It did. Now I'm curious, if I called it a present shop, would people think my English was strange? They'd probably understand you from the situation, but it would sound unusual because English speakers almost always say gift shop. You'll see those words at airports, museums, amusement parks, and famous landmarks all over the world. I enjoy visiting gift shops even if I don't buy anything. They're fun because every place sells something different that reminds you of your trip. Before I left the shopping center, another sign made me smile. It said, "Spend $50 today and receive a free gift." I see advertisements like that all the time. Sometimes the free gift is a small package of chocolates, a notebook, or a travel mug. Even if it's something simple, people enjoy getting a little surprise. Certainly, companies know how to catch our attention. Free gift has become such a common expression that most people never stop to think about the words. Speaking of interesting words, my neighbor told me his daughter won a national art competition last month. He kept saying she's a gifted artist. That's a wonderful example because gifted has a completely different meaning there. It describes someone with natural talent. You can talk about a gifted child, a gifted musician, a gifted athlete, or a gifted writer. It isn't connected to birthdays or holidays at all. I have another question. Last week, I told someone, my grandparents gifted me a watch for my graduation. After I said it, I wondered if I should have used a different verb. Your sentence was correct. Today, gift can be used as a verb, especially in writing and modern conversation. That said, many native speakers still prefer the simpler verb give. They would probably say, my grandparents gave me a watch. Both are correct, but give is still more common in everyday speech. That's helpful because sometimes the simplest choice is also the most natural one. One final word before we move on is donate. Imagine you finish cleaning your house and find books, clothes, or toys that you no longer use. Instead of throwing them away, you donate them to a charity or a local community center. You're giving something to help other people, so we normally use the verb donate instead of gift. I like how these expressions fit into everyday life. They're not difficult once you hear them in real situations, and learning them as complete phrases makes speaking English feel much more comfortable. I think the best way to remember these words is to imagine real conversations instead of trying to memorize rules. The more situations you hear, the easier it becomes to choose the right word without stopping to think. Let's try that. Imagine I'm shopping for my sister's birthday. I walk into a department store and ask an employee, "Hi, I'm looking for a gift for my sister. Can you help me?" That sounds completely natural because you're talking about the item you're planning to buy. The employee might ask, "How old is she?" or "What does she enjoy?" That's a conversation you could have almost anywhere. Then I finally find a nice handbag and tell my friend later, "I bought her a present." That's another natural sentence. You could also say, "I bought her a gift." Both work well. Many native speakers simply choose whichever word feels most natural to them in that moment. So if I say, "I'm looking for a gift," and later say, "I bought her a present," nobody will think I'm changing the meaning. Not at all. You'll often hear both words from the same speaker during one conversation. That's why learning the context is much more helpful than worrying about finding one perfect rule.
Here's another situation. My cousin is getting married next month. I'm trying to decide what to take to the wedding.
What would you say?
I might tell my wife, "We still need to buy a wedding gift this weekend."
That sounds very natural. Wedding gift is probably the phrase you'll hear most often, although wedding present is also possible. If someone says, "What are you giving the happy couple?" you could simply reply, "We've already chosen a gift."
I like that because it's simple and easy to remember.
Now let's imagine it's December and your office is having a Secret Santa exchange.
Those are always fun. Everyone secretly buys something for another coworker, and nobody knows who bought what until the party.
Your coworker opens the package and smiles. What might they say?
They could say, "Thank you for the gift."
Perfect. That's one of the most common and polite expressions in English. Of course, thank you for the present also sounds friendly, but thank you for the gift is something you'll hear very often.
Then another coworker might smile and say, "That was very thoughtful."
I like that expression because it focuses on the person's kindness instead of the price of the item. Even a small gift can be very thoughtful if it shows that you know the other person well.
Here's another situation. A friend comes back from Japan and hands me a small box.
What would you ask?
I'd probably say, "What's this?"
And your friend might answer, "I brought you a little souvenir."
After opening it, I'd naturally reply, "Thank you for the gift. That was very thoughtful."
That's a perfect response. You don't have to say, "Thank you for the souvenir." People often thank the person for the gift because the souvenir has become a gift for them.
Let me try another sentence. I gave him a beautiful present when he returned from his trip.
That sounds completely natural. You could also say, "He gave me a beautiful gift." Both express the same idea. The important thing is choosing words that fit the conversation instead of worrying about tiny differences.
I think that's what many learners need to hear. Sometimes they spend several minutes wondering whether one word is slightly better than another when both choices are perfectly acceptable.
That's true. English isn't always about finding one correct answer. It's often about sounding comfortable and communicating your ideas clearly. The more authentic conversations you hear, the more your brain begins to recognize these patterns naturally.
And that's probably the biggest lesson today. Don't try to memorize dozens of complicated rules. Listen to real English. Notice how people speak in different situations, and before long, you'll find yourself choosing the right word without even thinking about it.
We've looked at lots of real situations, so now let's have a little fun. I'm going to give you some sentences that English learners often say, and you tell me whether they sound natural, a little unusual, or incorrect.
That sounds like a challenge. I'll do my best.
Here's the first one. Yesterday, I gifted him a birthday cake.
I know gift can be a verb, so I think it's correct.
You're right, it is grammatically correct. However, in everyday conversation, most native speakers would simply say, "Yesterday, I gave him a birthday cake." The verb gift has become more common in recent years, especially in business writing, social media, and formal announcements. In casual conversations, though, give is still the more natural choice.
So if I'm talking with friends, saying, "I gave him a birthday cake" will usually sound better.
That's right. Now imagine you're writing a company newsletter. It might say, "The organization gifted new computers to local schools." In that kind of situation, the verb gifted sounds perfectly appropriate.
I see. The situation matters just as much as the grammar.
It certainly does. Now let's try another one. Listen carefully. My teacher will present me a certificate tomorrow.
That sounds good to me.
It is. In this sentence, present is a verb. It means to officially give something to someone, often during a ceremony or a special occasion. Schools present certificates. Companies present awards. Organizations present prizes.
So here, present doesn't mean a birthday present at all.
That's the important difference. The spelling stays the same, but the meaning changes. If I say, "I received a beautiful present," present is a noun. If I say, "The principal will present the award," it's a verb.
English certainly likes keeping us alert.
It does. Here's another sentence that learners sometimes create because they translate directly from their own language. I will give you your birthday gift in your birthday.
I think that sounds a little strange.
Good catch. Native speakers say, I will give you your birthday gift on your birthday. A small preposition can make a sentence sound much more natural. Direct translation doesn't always work because every language has its own patterns.
I've noticed that myself. Sometimes I build a sentence using the grammar from my first language, and then I wonder why it sounds unusual in English.
That's something every language learner experiences. Instead of translating word for word, try learning complete expressions. You'll speak more naturally because you're copying the way native speakers build sentences.
My turn to guess another one?
Of course. Someone says, I always use the word gift because it's more correct than present.
After today's conversation, I know that's not true. Both words are correct. If I only use one of them every time, my English might sound repetitive.
Well done. That's another common mistake. Some learners discover one correct word and then avoid every alternative. Native speakers naturally exchange between different words, depending on the conversation, personal preference, and fixed expressions we've talked about today.
So instead of trying to follow one rule all the time, I should listen to how people really speak.
That's the best strategy. Here's one final example. Which sounds more natural? I appreciate your thoughtful gift, or I appreciate your thoughtful present.
Honestly, both sound polite to me.
They do. Both sentences are warm, friendly, and completely natural. If someone gives you something special, they'll probably appreciate hearing either one. The feeling behind your words is much more important than choosing one perfect vocabulary item.
I like that lesson because it takes away unnecessary pressure. Instead of worrying about every small difference, I can focus on speaking clearly, choosing words that fit the situation, and paying attention to how native speakers use English in both formal and informal conversations. That's the kind of practice that really helps your confidence grow.
Well, Mike, speaking of birthdays, we still have one job to finish. Our friend's birthday is this weekend, and we still haven't decided what we're taking to the party.
You're right. We talked so much about gifts and presents that we almost forgot to buy one ourselves. Have you thought of any ideas?
I have a few. She loves reading, so I was thinking about buying a new novel. If I can't decide which one she'd enjoy most, I'll probably choose a gift card for her favorite bookstore instead. That way, she can pick the book she really wants.
I like that plan. A gift card can still be very thoughtful when you know what the other person enjoys. Sometimes giving someone the freedom to choose is the best present of all.
I agree. We should also buy a birthday card and wrap everything nicely. A beautiful ribbon and colorful paper make opening a gift much more exciting.
That's true. Half the fun is seeing the surprise on someone's face before they even know what's inside the package.
Imagine she opens it and smiles. What do you think she'll say?
Probably something like, "Thank you for the gift. I really appreciate it."
And if she said, "Thank you for the present," that would sound just as warm and natural.
That's probably the biggest lesson from today's conversation. Most of the time, both words work perfectly well. You don't have to stop speaking because you're trying to decide which one is slightly better.
That's an important point. Good communication isn't about finding one perfect word every time. It's about expressing your ideas clearly so other people understand you. If your sentence sounds natural and your meaning is clear, you're already doing a great job.
We also discovered that some expressions stay the same. We say gift card, gift shop, and free gift because those are the expressions native speakers have used for many years.
We also learned that gifted has a completely different meaning. A gifted musician or a gifted artist has special talent. That meaning has nothing to do with birthdays or holidays.
And when we talked about the verb gift, we learned that it's correct to say someone gifted you something. But in everyday conversations, many people still prefer the simpler verb gave.
Another lesson I hope everyone remembers is not to translate every sentence directly from your own language. Sometimes the words may be correct, but the sentence doesn't sound natural in English. Listening to real conversations helps you notice those little differences.
I think that's one of the reasons conversations are such a helpful way to learn. You hear vocabulary used for a real occasion, not as isolated words in a long list. That makes everything easier to remember.
The next time you watch an English movie or television show, pay attention to these words. Notice when someone says gift and when another character says present. Listen for expressions like gift card or thank you for the gift. The more examples you hear, the more comfortable they'll become.
You can do the same while reading books, listening to podcasts, or even chatting with English-speaking friends. Every conversation is another chance to learn how native speakers naturally choose their words.
Most importantly, don't be afraid of making small mistakes. Every English learner makes them, and every conversation gives you another opportunity to improve. Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep enjoying the learning process.
We hope today's episode has made these 2 words much easier to understand, and more importantly, much easier to use in your own conversations. Thank you for spending your time with us today. We truly appreciate you learning with us, and we can't wait to see you again in the next episode of Speak English Daily. Until then, keep practicing, keep celebrating every bit of progress you make, and have a wonderful day.